How you do, cousins? It's Rusty. Today we're going to talk about how you sell for a living. This is what I do, guys. I find stuff that I think is undervalued, and then I resell it, and I try to make a living that way. It's fun to do. It gives me a lot of freedom in my schedule, and if people need help, or if I need to stop what I'm doing and go do something else, I can do that because I work for myself. I'm going to show you the four main components of this type of a job. It's going to be sourcing items, it's going to be photographing those items, it's going to be researching and listing the items, and then finally shipping the items once they sell. Come on with me, guys, let's take a look. Rusty, how to. Guys, I'm about to go into an estate sale here and do some sourcing. This is the number one thing, the first thing you really do whenever you're reselling, and that is you got to find a product that you're going to sell. Some people source online, some people source from their own house, places, the stuff that they've got around the house that they don't need anymore. But then other times you just go out into your community at places like thrift stores, garage sales, estate sales, pawn shops, stuff like that. And today I'm going to take you with me to an estate sale. We're going to see if we can find some cool products, and then I'll show you the next steps, which are the listing it, photographing it, researching, and the shipping. Let's go. This is me walking into this estate sale. I come here, they have this on Thursdays every other week, and it's great. There, as you can see, just the massive size of this place. There's all kinds of goodies in here. Anything from furniture to jewelry to ceramic ware, glassware. That case right there, I bought many a piece of jewelry. You'll see me back over there in a few minutes. But I always start off here kind of on one side. I try to work my way over. Took my jacket off there so it's not in the way of my GoPro. That's how I'm recording this, is a GoPro on my chest. At first, I felt real uncomfortable doing it. The more I do it, the more comfortable I get. No one's ever really said anything to me about it or asked me, and so I just keep doing it. You know, it works out pretty well. All this stuff here is vintage costume jewelry, and the very first thing I'm looking for here is to see if this particular vintage watch is made of gold. Is it gold plated? Is it rolled gold? Does it have any gold in that? In the clasp there, or the watch band, but it did not. So I'm looking around here. I see that pink, and at first I was like, is that pink coral? But no, it was some sort of a stone, maybe rose quartz or something like that. Looking at these pieces, just trying to see, is there a good deal here? Are there any precious metals that maybe they missed? Sometimes I get sterling silver jewelry over here that they did not know was made of silver, and so it's priced quite well. Here's a piece. It's one of the basically the only piece of costume jewelry that I did buy, and you can see it's large pieces of abalone there and a moonstone. That was sterling silver. It was $25. I almost didn't buy it because at $25 it's sometimes kind of hard to get that, and I'm trying here to look through all these other pieces that are hanging. There's several different brooches, pins. They got some cufflinks, some earring sets, different stuff. Again, I'm looking for precious metals. I'm looking for rare gemstones or things that are set. The more you look at this costume jewelry, you can tell based on the settings or the look of the stone whether or not it's going to be valuable or just sort of run-of-the-mill plastic or things like that. In general, costume jewelry, if the stone itself is just glued in place, that's a pretty good sign that it's plastic or glass, or it's not very valuable. If it actually has clasps that come up around the side and hold it in place, and then if you look behind, if it's actually set like a regular setting in there, allowing light to pass through it, then that's generally a pretty good indication that that's a valuable piece of jewelry, that stone is valuable because they want the light to pass through it. Also, if you're looking at stones and you can see little flecks of stuff in there, imperfections, then and they call that included. If it's included, if it has little specks and stuff in there, then that means it's it's oftentimes, almost always, it's a genuine gemstone. So now I'm looking around up above. You got some of these little ceramic cups here with these faces, but at $15, that's about what they sell for online. This here is a kind of a cinnabar type thing. You can see me there with my in the mirror. You can see my GoPro. I'm looking at this. I don't see a price on it, and so I'll go ahead and just pass on that. But it was intricately carved, pretty cool. Then you can see this little handbag here, this little clutch. At first, I'm like, how do I open this sucker? I figure it out, open it up. You can see there's a little mirror in there that I'm going to try to clean off. Kind of, foreshadowing here. I did end up buying this. I open it up, I take a look. Is there a branding? Yes, there's a name in there. And so I'm going to go over and you can see I'm going to pull up my bag here. I'm going to park it over the side and I'm going to pull out my trusty pocket computer here. This is, look at that, some cousin friends of mine. So I'm going to open up the eBay app there and you can see I'm looking up what I thought was Moralito. It was not Moralito. I'm going to look at the sold items. See, I'm scrolling down here, sold listings. Did any of these sell? And then I find that I spelled it wrong. It's actually Morabito, but you can see 128, 187, and $500. Now the one that sold for 500 was a snakeskin variation, and those are highly sought after. But one that's very similar to it sold for $128, and I think they just I can't remember if that said 20 or 25. But I'm absolutely willing to take a shot there. All right, back into it here. Wanted to show you this next row that we got going. I find this little sketchbook here. It's pretty cool looking, and but there's nothing written in it, drawn in it. This, I was hoping there'd be some tools or something laying in that, but it's just some sort of a little leather bag. Not much there that I wanted to grab. There's all kinds of these silverware, ceramics. Sometimes I'll look at this to see if any of it's actual sterling silver. Most of this stuff was just plated. I've got all kinds of bowls and ceramics. Ceramics, sometimes can sell for good money, but otherwise they're fragile. They're difficult to package. They can be heavy. I try not to mess with it if I can avoid it. Now I'm back at this case. It's kind of slim pickings. Unfortunately, I was indisposed yesterday. I couldn't get out here to this estate sale. It actually started yesterday. You can get in first thing on Thursdays. That's the best time. I couldn't make it, so I'm a day late. So most of the good stuff is gone already, guys. Usually I walk out here with 10 items or more. And that was just not the case today. I expected as much. Right now I'm looking at some of this costume jewelry. But there's some decent stones in here. This was made of sterling silver, but they just wanted too much money, $40. If that was $15, I probably would have pulled the trigger on it. And then the other one here, 2 or 3, were just flat out costume jewelry. It wasn't even a precious metal, much less a precious gemstone. But you got to do that. What I'm actually doing here is I'm looking inside the band. I happen to be able to look at things pretty well. I've got pretty good eyesight still, luckily, and so I don't really need a loop, although I try to carry a loop with me most of the time in case it's really small and I can't quite see it. But I'm looking for markings for gold. I'm looking for markings for sterling silver, 925, or things that just say sterling on it. That's a cool clock there. Look at that. I didn't end up going for that. Here's some old postcards, wooden postcards. There were only 2 in there. It'd have been $5 a piece. Again, that's still too much for me. And then these were some old cutouts here that you could kind of put together your own paper dolls. But I decided not to pull the trigger on that either. All right, rolling down through here. This area over here I'm getting into, again, this is the second day of the estate sale. There's not a lot, but a lot of times I find postcards, black and white photographs, small lightweight paper goods, which I love to sell. I found this little box here and some metal pieces, some old tools, kind of cool, but I wasn't that interested in a bunch of clay prints and some other stuff that also big, large, kind of hard to ship. I don't really like that stuff. Over here you see a gnome or some little figures, and they wanted 10 or 15 bucks a piece for them. Guys, if I find that at a Goodwill or something for $1 or $2, I'll pull the trigger, but not at these prices here. Really just wasn't a whole lot. A lot of glassware and stuff that, again, is breakable. I try to avoid that stuff. I am going to roll over here, though, and show you a couple of vintage tools. And I'm in the market for a pitchfork to turn over some stuff in a compost heap I got out here, but I can't quite find one in a retail store, so I was looking around, didn't find one, but I did find some sweet little metal cutting tools, which I can use to cut briars and stuff out here. I've been cutting my fingers lately trying to mess with some of that stuff, and man, it's been rough. I end up buying one of these. I'm so glad I did. I'm going to take an angle grinder to it, sharpen it up, and those briars had better, look out. All right. Taking a look here at some of this awesome furniture. This particular piece had already been sold, but look at that old wood and that marble top, super awesome. People are finding stuff all over the place. Some other really cool furniture. I just showed this. I wasn't planning on buying it, but I just wanted to show you. Super cool. This one had a particular manufacturer. I was looking, you're just going to see my knees for a second. It's nice that I can still bend over at my age, I'll tell you. Actually, this type of job keeps me feeling young because I'm always out looking around, walking around, moving around. And no one's going to mess with me in here, too, because I got about a 4-foot-long hatchet-style handle with a big old blade on it. So if someone else wanted that piece of furniture, they're going to walk away because I'm armed. Not really, folks, but anyhow, running through here, all kinds of cool furniture. I just wanted to kind of give you a peek at what I got. This is a great little place. I'm in Asheville, North Carolina today at this estate sale. It's super cool. Beautiful area out here where we live out in the mountains. It's about that time of year I can start going on hikes, and there's tons of waterfalls and beautiful stuff around here, scenery. This area along the wall here, you can see back in there all that storage they got of these upcoming estates. But look at all of these, this watercolors up here. This is where I find a lot of times pretty valuable artwork. I'm kind of putting together a nice little collection of stuff that's in here that I usually can buy for $100 or less. This was black and white print. Nothing really struck me today. I like oil paintings primarily, old lithographs and sketches and stuff that have actual signatures on them. That's the stuff I look for the most. I didn't find any of that today, unfortunately, but that's okay. Again, if I'd come out the day before when everything was out on the shelf, no one had seen it yet, then I probably could have found something I wanted. That's the end of this, guys. Let's move on to the next. Guys, I didn't want to skip the research part, but honestly, you can do a lot of this research out in the field. If you have a cell phone, which most people do, you just get the eBay app, which is free, and then you get in the search section here, and you just look for whatever it is you're trying to find. In this case, it was a Morabito bag. You can see below there, I've already searched for it, so I'll just click that button and show you that this is what pops up. We've got one that's a leather small handbag there. We got a brown leather bag in the middle there, a brown leather, beautiful. And then below we've got that black one that is made out of snakeskin. I'm going to just completely ignore that one because mine is not made out of leather. It is not that nice of a material. It is black leather. It's kind of a softer, suede type of leather, but it's in immaculate condition. Almost, I don't think it's ever been used, but it is a vintage piece. So I'm looking at here, there's $128 sold and $187 sold. Not a lot of these is sold, but it is a designer piece and it is vintage and it is from Paris. And so I don't expect to see a ton. You can see that 2 of those were sold from Japan. So there's not even a whole lot in the US selling. But this is how I decided, you know what, I'm going to do it as a buy it now, because I don't know if this will be something that sells fast if only 3 of them are selling every 3 months. One every month basically is selling. And so, but for a $20 investment, I don't mind waiting to get, a higher price. So what I'm going to do is set this up as a $200 buy it now. It's a little higher than both of those, but I'm going to accept offers. Someone's going to offer me somewhere between probably $128 and $187, maybe even $100. And if I get that, you know what, I'll take it because I only paid $20. Now let's go back here and now let's look up a abalone necklace that's made out of silver, sterling actually. Misspelled necklace, but it will correct it for me. Okay, so you see this, but I don't care what people are asking. I want to know what has sold. So I'm going to go down to sold items. Boom. I'm going to look them up. And then I'm going to see if anything looks like what we did. This one's 838, looks similar to it, but it was in rougher condition. It was not quite as large either. So there's a variety. What I like to do is go to the top here under filter again, scroll to the top, and where it says sort, I like to click on highest price plus shipping. What are the nicest pieces selling for? Well, we got some that are selling for hundreds, but these are quite large. It says retired. Maybe some of these are designer pieces that have signatures on them. And so I don't expect to get that kind of price, but I want to get down to where I see something that's somewhat similar. This one for $152.50. It's different colors, but that is roughly the size of the one that I bought. I'm coming down here, some lots that have sold. Again, we're looking at various different types. Here's one that's just a large pendant, $100. I think that ours will sell somewhere in the probably $50 to $70 range. I paid $25 for it, so I'm not expecting to get a huge return. But again, there was money to be made, and I just felt like getting that one today. So looking at these $90 that have been accepted offers here, So I'm going to go ahead and set mine up at somewhere between $40 and $50 as an auction and see if someone buys it straight away. If not, I will put it up for probably $90 and accept a best offer. All right, folks, I just got done. I'm out in the parking lot. Let me show you what I got. All right, as typically happens, I'll find stuff to resell, but sometimes I'll find stuff just for myself. Here's the resale items. This necklace here with a bunch of this mother of pearl stuff here. Got some rhinestones. Maybe that's a moonstone there, I believe, but it's all in sterling silver. That cost me $25. That was a maybe. I ended up pulling the trigger on it. I think I can sell it for probably $50. Here's the big one. I looked this sucker up. You saw me look it up on my phone. It's a Morabito. Not a lot of these have sold, but the ones that have sold between $150 and $500. So for a $20 investment, it's in excellent condition. Marcasite stones up here, and we'll examine this a little closer when we get back to the warehouse. And then this sucker's for me. Why? Well, because I got all these briars I'm fighting out at the warehouse out. I'm trying to make the area look nicer, and I'm tearing up my fingers, as you can see. So this thing cost me $15. I'm going to take an angle grinder on that sucker, and I'm gonna walk back in with the big guns, and those briars, they're gonna start running for the hills, I hope. Now, two cousins, I wanted to show you now. I've gone ahead and I've posted these two items, this clutch and this necklace, on my eBay store. So as you can see, Rusty Bargain Warehouse here, and this is the clutch itself. Sometimes I photograph these in a light box, but for the sake of time and for this video, I went ahead and just did it out free-flowing. But you can see I'm going to click on these different photos. There's that brand, Morabito, Paris. And you can see I showed inside, cleaned up the mirror a little bit. I showed, down inside of there, you can see this is the beautiful, kind of marcasite, bedazzled sort of handle piece there. Here's the clasp. It's also got those rhinestones there on it, and the same as the clasp on the clutch itself. This is the back of it. But these were selling between $128 and $500. So I just put, I wanted to be priced competitively. I put $200 as a buy it now. I'm going to allow people to make offers if they want to. They can click here and make an offer. $8 is about all it cost me to ship if I buy it on eBay. And I didn't put much in the description. I just put that it's a vintage bag. It's a designer type bag. It ships very fast. That's all. If someone wants to know more about that item, they can ask me. Here's a little secret from me. In my experience, and some of you might argue and disagree, and I would love to get into a dialogue about it if you do, but my experience has been that the descriptions, they can take a lot of time, and they're almost not necessary at all, unless you have specific damage or item thing about the item that you need to communicate, so you don't feel like you're misleading somebody. That's the best time for doing a description. But otherwise, it just wastes a lot of time, and most people don't even read those descriptions anyways. If they want to ask questions, they can ask questions and just be good about responding to them. But this is the first one I put up here. I paid $20 for this. If someone offers me $100, I'll probably take it and walk away with $60-70 net profit in my pocket. If somebody offers $175, I'm going to take that all day long, every day, because I'm only $20 into this. So that's that one. Here's the next one. Put this up. This is that necklace. You can see those large pieces of abalone shell. It's beautiful. Those rhinestones in sort of a flower shape. It's this designer offset piece. It's quite nice, honestly. Here's a closer up piece of that. I'm only putting up on this one for $44 as an auction. I just put it up. I got 6 days and 23 hours left, so it's at the very beginning of it. We'll see if it can sell. I paid $25 for this. I may only get $10 or $15 profit off of it. It's not a big deal. If it doesn't sell, I'll put it back up as a buy it now for a higher amount with an allowing people to make offers. Again, I just put what it was, and I said that it ships quickly, and it will ship quickly. That's really all I needed to do. So I went out. I didn't find a whole lot today, but I got these in my car. I drove back to the warehouse. I quickly did my research to see these are selling anywhere from around $30 to $60, $65. And so I put it right in the middle, and I'm okay waiting a week to get this money back. So I've got one as a buy it now, one as an auction. And it's very simple, guys. To get an eBay account, it's free. It takes very little time to set it up, and it's pretty straightforward. We've done videos on listing. There's other videos out there on listing. But in order to do this full time, you need to go out once or twice a week, look for items, come back, do the research real quick, take some photos, attach them to your listing, and you're done, folks. It's that easy. It's fun to find the items, but you got to follow through and actually make the listing, put the photos on here, and if you're patient, you will make money. Let me just show you that I'm not just blowing a lot of hot air at my GoDaddy account, which is what does all my bookkeeping, and you can see what I've been doing so far this year. All right, folks, here we are. Make sure that this is running. It is. Here we are with my GoDaddy account. This actually pulls in money from both Etsy and eBay for me, and it keeps track of my expenditures as well as tracks how much money is coming in. So for this one eBay store, Rusty Bargain Warehouse, that I run, this is where we're looking at so far since January 1st, and we're towards the latter part of April. I've got around $1,000 that's going to end in the next 3 days on eBay. So this will look like 54, 57 in about 3 days. I'm expecting to make somewhere between $6,500 and $7,000 in sales in April of this month. Last month we had a good month. It was 98.38. February was not a great month, but part of that is because, honestly, we had a bunch of stuff sell on March 1st. And so really we had about $1,800. This would have been more like $7,000, and this would have been more like $4,000. And then in January we did $76.44 on this. So it's totaling up right here. It's saying that I've spent about this in expenses, and that's true. This factors in gas. This factors in if I ever spend money on food. This factors in me purchasing products to resell. This is the total income so far. That's again going to be more like 25 total income, and this will be more like 16 to 17 grand. So if you add in stuff that I sell on Etsy and a local antique store and stuff, I'm going to be right more around 20 grand in net profit so far for this year. And that's not too bad, guys. That's a humble, that's $60,000 in my pocket net profit in a year doing eBay and reselling full time. That's a humble salary, okay? I'm not rich here, but I just wanted to show you that over the course of the year, right now, this again would have been more like 4. So I'm in the between 5 and 7 grand on average over the course of the year per month right now, selling on eBay. Guys, if I was only running the eBay store and none of the other platforms, I could do everything I need to do in about 25 to 30 hours a week. If I wanted to just do this part-time and have another full-time job, if I just had 10 hours a week to spend, I could be doing a quarter of this, a quarter of 60 grand. Who wouldn't like another $10, $12, $15 money to use in their life? So do you have 10 extra hours in your life? Could you go out for a couple hours on a weekend? Could you spend an hour or two once or twice a week in the evening time instead of watching TV? Could you sell some stuff? If so, guys, I'm not saying you could do this much. You might be doing much more than me, but you can do it, folks. You really can do it. And so I want to encourage those of you out there who are thinking about doing it. It's not hard. I would just recommend starting out doing something with what you got at your house, something that you don't have to buy, that you don't need anymore. Try selling that on eBay. Get a little taste for it, and then you can move forwards. Cousins, I'm back here at the warehouse. Thank you so much. If you've stuck around this long, you're one of my favorite cousins. If you like this video, please do so with your finger as well. Click that like. And if you haven't subscribed, do so that you can be reminded when we have new stuff come out. Remember, check out our eBay store, Rusty Bargain Warehouse, Etsy store, and our Mercari store, Rusty Discount Deals and Rusty's Custom Stuff. That's the Etsy one. Take care, cousins. Rusty.